Welcome to Friday Night Ghost Frights, a series of real, true experiences with the paranormal and the supernatural. Ghost tales that will frighten you in the depths of the night. Some may not believe the things I'm about to describe, but I assure you that everything I'm about to tell you is absolutely true. It is up to you, dear viewer, as to whether you believe me or not. The very historic and the very haunted Goldenrod Showboat was the biggest and most luxurious showboat ever built, filled with wonder and awe that attracted many along the Mississippi riverfront over decades of time. Built over 100 years ago in 1909, it's where the likes of Ricksecker got his start, and other famous performers such as Bob Hope graced its stage. While there are many times it traveled up and down the Mississippi River, it primarily stayed in the St. Louis area, run by its longtime proprietor, Captain Bill Minke. Captain Minke's heart and soul was poured into this boat, as evidenced with a fire in the 1960s which saw an 80-year-old man in the boat with hammer and nails piecing it back together. It was such a jewel of the Mississippi that it was a shame in the early 2000s it was told that it could no longer offer performances as the hull had taken on too much damage. Given the costly repair, it was left to sit for over a decade, until it almost finally closed its doors. During an attempt to salvage it in 2015, the hull actually buckled, and the owners finally gave up and decided that they were going to scrap the entire thing. A piece of American history, an actual national historic landmark, they were going to scrap and burn. On April 1st, 2016, the Goldenrod Showboat closed its doors, presumably to never be seen again. However, after a number of months, a resolution was finally agreed to, and the Goldenrod Showboat will be spared, heading back to St. Louis, its original home. It will be dismantled and reconstructed, and then restored. A historic preservation tale that was about to go awry has now been resurrected. There are many ghost tales from the Goldenrod Showboat, and I will share a few of my own. I was first offered to visit the Goldenrod during February 2016, making the long trek out of Maryland where I lived at the time. And when I first walked into the Goldenrod, I could feel that energy. I could sense that history around me, and my breath was taken away. Early on, in a moment while I was left alone, I felt as if someone had been with me, and maybe it brushed my hair or tickled my neck. More on that later. Shauna Walko gave me an absolutely fantastic walkthrough of the boat, telling me all the details of what had happened there and the activity that had been witnessed.
On the stairs, I've had someone pass me with enough force where it kind of, blew my hair back a little bit. Usually it's at stairwell, that entrance on the right. I have an audio of Captain Minke saying my name. It was also the side that I was going on whenever I said that I missed him and he said it back.
It's Shauna, Captain Minke, I've missed you. It's Shauna, Captain Minke, I've missed you.
When we investigated later that evening, one of the more unusual things that kept happening were these loud bangs and knocks throughout the entire boat. These were sounds that after several years of investigating the Goldenrod, Shauna hadn't heard before. At first, we actually thought it was somebody trying to sneak on the boat. We went out and checked and nobody was there. But yet throughout the night, the sounds kept happening.
Oh yeah, I put mine at home. Yeah. Can you tell me about the shows here? That's on the other side now. Somebody there?
If there's somebody coming on, you better not be human.
It's on the other side of that door. Listen.
Were they sounds of the Goldenrod settling? Well, again, they were sounds that hadn't been heard before, but they kept happening again and again. Perhaps the boat itself was expressing its displeasure at the impending closure. But really the most prevalent activity that I experienced that night was upstairs from a spirit named Annie. Annie has a most unfortunate tale where she and her father once worked on the Goldenrod, and she had fallen for a young man who also worked there on the boat. Well, her father wouldn't have it. He said no. They got into a very large argument, and she ran off the boat out into St. Louis. The next time she was seen, she was floating in the water alongside the boat the next morning. To this day, nobody knows what happened to her and how she ended up that way. But she is still there on the Goldenrod, at least when I was there. Earlier that day when I had first walked down, like I said, I had felt something kind of playing with my hair, maybe my neck, maybe the ear a little bit. Well, there was some more of that activity upstairs. And when I mentioned this to Shauna, I felt somebody playing with my ear. She said, well, that's probably Annie. And Annie, if you like playing with his ear so much, why don't you go ahead and blow in it? And sure enough, I felt a puff of breath in my ear. We got a good laugh out of that, and in jest, Shauna said, well, why don't you go ahead and blow in the other? And sure enough, poof, I felt a blow in the other.
Or you can touch my ear again, something. That's fine.
From what I hear, Annie, you're tall enough, you could probably reach up and blow it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice suggestion, she did.
Annie, can you do that again?
Don't do that again. That was interesting.
Here, I'll turn my head. I won't watch. I'll give you guys your moment. Go ahead and blow in his ear.
And there it was.
So definitely very playful and definitely an interesting experience. The Goldenrod Showboat is really a fantastic piece of history, and I can't wait to get back there now that it's been saved to investigate again. Thank you for watching Friday Night Ghost Frights. Please let us know what you think of our show in the comments below. And if you have not yet, please subscribe. I'm Mike Ricksecker. Until next Friday night.